What's up, guys? Today is finally the day. We got a lot of requests for this door. Behind me I got the XP1000 4-door. We've gone through the Can-Am, we've gone through the Razors, and yeah, I'm really excited to show you guys what we got in stock for this one. I got everything laid out here, so let's go through it. So this kit is super simple to put together. You use basic wrenches, socket sets. The only thing I would recommend is this style pry bar to get in the hinge, as well as a rubber mallet to not damage the hinge in installing. But other than that, basic tools and should be good to go. So this is the main base plate for the passenger side. This is what it looks like. And this is the front hinge bracket. Now for this one, you're gonna grab the carriage bolts. These are 5/16. These go on the hinge side and it goes on the front side. So the hinge bracket, and then just grab the washers and the nuts, put those in the back. Now for this hinge bracket, you're going to want the 1/4 inch bolt to be facing upward and has all the adjustability. So we're going to grab our cam adjuster. And you notice here that the top is slotted, and that's to allow the hinge to pivot in or out, and that's adjusted by rotating this cam and locking it in place. You're going to fix that in with the washer and nut. Okay. So here we have the brace bracket for that hinge base, and this is going to take 1/4 inch button heads. This is the adjuster because the hinge spacing is different between different cars, so this allows some adjustability. And then you're going to use the washers in the back, and nuts. Should be good to go. Alright, now we're going to install the base plate on the car. This piece has a little flange there, so it helps to slip it over first and then pivot down. Throw the bolt in there. So this brace bracket with the cutout is going to be facing inward. We're going to put that here. And this bumper with the bumper facing towards the rear and the hook facing back is going to go in between there like that. We're going to throw a bolt in from the top. So for this back portion, we're going to reuse the factory hardware. And for these, it is a T30 Torx bit. Get those on there and tighten them down. So if you're trying to get the bolt through the inside, it's going to be super hard because it's blocked off. But if you get a deep socket, you can get it easily from the bottom. And then this is a 12 and a 16. For these push-in bumpers, I found that if you put them in sideways, twist and push, they will go in pretty easy. So here I have the rear hinge. Now this is 2-piece to allow you guys to rotate in and out the actual rear door. But to install, I recommend taking this first piece out because we do have to mallet this in. There's another tip I got right here, so we're going to show you that now. So here I have just the back piece of the hinge. We're making sure that this set screw is facing down. And what I did here to help us is I used the old bolt and I completely crimped it down, which squeezes this together. Now this one, you're going to put it at like a 45-degree angle, and you tap it in, tap it up, and then we're going to remove that bolt, and then we're going to fully tap it in. So at this point we're going to grab the 5/16 jam nut and this 5/16 set screw, and this is going to go in this lower portion. Now what this is made to do is to allow you to adjust this hinge up or down for the alignment of the door. So this kind of bears the weight of that and lets you dial it in so that you can tighten these bolts once you get it right in place. The second thing we're going to do is grab the second portion of this hinge bracket, put these bolts in. Now the front side takes a washer, but the back side does not. These are 1/4 28 bolts. These are stronger than grade 8, zinc plated. Make sure this bracket is stout. Get all those there. And once all 4 are on, what this allows you to do is rotate the door. So that allows you to get that in and out adjustment as needed. So you can go up and down and in and out as you need. I shifted the seat over a little bit just to give us some working room here. Now this is the 3/8 bolt along with the washer and nut. And here's a little bit tricky, so I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. Put the bolt in, and the wrench, there's a little spot here to get to it. So you put it in there, and I put the gas strut on before this just because it's easier to do it like on the table. This bracket should look like that on the passenger side, and you just slip that on the outside of the bolt, and we'll tighten that on the outside with the wrench. Now that we got all the mounting brackets on the car, we can go ahead and assemble the skin, get that on the door frame, and then we'll be able to get the doors on the car. These skins are 2-piece, the rear is 3-piece, and I recommend pre-assembling the skins. And there's only 3 bolts you want to do before you put it on the frame. It's these 2 here, and the third one is going to be this bottom corner. That way you can play with it as all 1 piece rather than 2. So now we're going to put on the LSK logo, but what I recommend is getting a piece of vinyl. You can get this stuff for like $1 at Target or something like that. We just cut a little square out, center it between the holes. Doesn't need to be perfect. That way when you put your LSK logo, you got a backdrop, add some contrast. You can color match to your car, do whatever you guys like doing. Makes it look sick. So we got the door frame assembled with our handle, our bumper, and the bushings. And we got our panel assembled with our LSK logo and these 3 bolts. The rest we want to leave open so that we can mount it to the actual frame. So now let's take the frame and get it on the car. So now we can just line this frame up, put this 5/16 6-inch bolt through it all the way. Helps us to latch it, just to hold it, that way we're not fighting it. Then we can go ahead and tighten everything down. So this door frame has a couple of adjustments. It has in and out, which is taken care of by this cam. It has up and down, which is taken care of by these 2 hinge brackets. And then your door latch too can be in, out, up, down. So what I like doing is centering this. And then I add a little bit of spacing because once the weight of the door is on the car, it kind of sags a little bit. So I would recommend you lift this about 1/2 inch. So just grab a random nut. And then I will go ahead and tighten these. Pivot it where I want it to go. Snug everything down. We're gonna make better adjustments once the skin's on, but this is at least a good place to start. There we go. And we'll tighten the rest of it. Ready? At this point, what we're gonna do is grab the foam strips that are included, and we're gonna overlay that basically anywhere that touches the panel to the frame. This will eliminate all the vibration. So now we can go ahead, put the skin on the car. So we have the passenger side door frame. I already mounted the LSK handle, but this is the rear door frame. What you're gonna wanna do is put the latch on the front side, and you have this backing plate that goes all the way on the back side. And you can put the 1/4 inch bolt all the way through. We include these end caps for the main tube end right here. And then just install that there.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd mention that this tube here is 1.5 inches and it uses a solid machined hinge. Now these things are fully rosette weld on all 4 corners and completely TIG welded to get a good bond between the tube and the machined steel. So this rear section is 3 pieces, and it also comes with a vent cover for the back. Some people actually add vinyl on this to get a contrast on it and show it off. So this scoop piece goes above the midsection, and this bottom panel goes above the rest, and it all gets bolted in place. So now we got the door frame bolted together. So the ones you want to put on are just these here. The rest you want to leave open because those actually mount it to the door frame. So now we're going to put the door frame on, but before we do, I would highly recommend you add grease or lubricant, whatever you want, but this will extend the life of these. Because they're metal on metal, a little bit of grease will go a long way. And we'll get this thing on there. So let's go and tighten this down. That way any adjustments we make can be made with the proper pivots. So once you get the door frame on, you want to tighten this down fully. That way we can make the proper adjustments and get all the brackets where they're supposed to go. So first thing you want to do is adjust the in and out. So I'll push it out just so that clears. Then after that, we're going to adjust the actual height of the door with this set screw in here. So the tighter I make it, the more it's going to push the door up. And right now it's free floating, so it's about, I'll go right around there is where I want it. So now that's in place, we can fully tighten down these 2 main bolts. For the rotation, I would recommend putting the panel on first. That way you can line up the back panel properly to the front panel. And once you get that in place, you tighten it up with these 4 bolts here. Now that we got the skin on the door, we got the height adjusted, and I pushed it in to where all the lines match up nice and even. Now I can tighten this up and lock everything in place. Last thing we got to do is mount up the gas strap. Now these have a couple different options. That depends on the clearance of your car. This one touches right about there, so I'm gonna go one before, and then we'll get that mounted up. So now for these front doors, we are currently manufacturing a limit strap. So we don't have that now, but once we do get it, you'll get it in the package and it'll go right here. You also have adjustments to control how much you want the door to open. So this wraps up our video on our new XP1000 4-seat doors. I hope this video helped you guys out. Leave some comments, let us know what you think about it. Like and subscribe this video, and I'll see you guys next time.